Masato's Blue Sketch Dojo.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm Masato Inoue, car designer. Now I'm uploading the teaching tips of car design on YouTube, and I'm doing my own online car design sketch training. Today I'd like to talk about that online training. It's called Masato's Blue Sketch Dojo. It's gonna be a quite a long video, so I will divide it 3 parts maybe. So let's start. In one word, the goal of Blue Sketch is acquisition of a visualized ability to transfer image to others at one glance. At one glance, you can transfer the image from your brain to visualize. Okay? So, today I'd like to start. What is the Blue Sketch? If you want to be a car designer, a nice sketching skill is really mandatory. To improve the sketch, there is 2 important things. One, you need to draw a lot of sketches until your hand moves as if automatic. Like karate or judo, hard training at dojo. Dojo is a place of training hall. Is necessary. You cannot be a good sketcher without drawing a lot. It's impossible. But you should not draw without theory. There are simple 4 commandments which are key points to enable an ideal sketch expression. To experience the effectiveness and always conscious while sketching is a key to improve. This Blue Sketch method was created exactly for the purpose of this. About the color of the sketch, maybe monochrome sketch could be the right way to saying. But since many of the students like the blue, then naturally we start calling it Blue Sketch. Color-wise, if hue is same, any color should be okay if with a strong contrast. I'd like you to think the Blue Sketch means hard sketch training with 4 commandments. So what is the benefit of the Blue Sketch? The number 1 is to others to image conveyor. You can convey your idea by visual without word. This is the first goal of the sketch, I already told. And the second point is also two others. Charming weapon. As a result of the visual communication, others become stand by your side. This is kind of magic. You know, people have a right brain and left brain. And right brain is more like a visual image kind of mood. Left brain is more like a rational, logical thing. People tend to think logical, rational thing, but if with the emotional right brain, people change the way of thinking. Human consists of both sides of the brain, and the sketch directly affect to the right side of the brain. This is what I call charming weapon. Number 3, to yourself, it's a mirror to judge your design. You can visualize what you imagined, then you can judge it objectively. There are many cases like this. Experienced designer often says while a conversation, "Wow, it's a good idea. It must be a good idea, right? I think so, but until I draw it and look at it in a sketch, I cannot say it's a definitely good idea." Between the designers, we talk like this very often because sketch is a mirror of your idea. By sketching, you could know all the detail of the sketch, and then you can judge it objectively. It's a very important point for the designer. And number 4, to yourself, view expander. In this class, we will not just drawing a car, but also industrial design or architecture and space, or even a human figure. And through those, you can widen your design view. This is very important thing. If you just draw sketches of the car, probably you feel kind of narrow view about creation. So this training works to widen your view. Okay, let's go to next. This is before and after. This is about the effectiveness of the class. Here are some typical case of a former student improvement in 3 months. I always do this course in 3 months. Between the beginning and at the end, the way they draw change like this much. Of course, effectiveness depends on each person's case. But at least, if you don't draw, you never be good. You know, train with thinking for commandments is very important, and it will enhance the effectiveness of this class for you. Okay, I talk about the process of the class. From here, first day, first lesson, and second day, second lesson, third day, third lesson. but between these 3 lessons there are 1 week each. So in the first lesson you will experience what is stand out and what is understandable expression, what is the right way of expression by the drawing cube and only by lines. You will comprehend the importance of 4 commandments through that first day. And I will give you homework. The amount of homework vary depends on level of the class, but usually I give you like 4 category sketches: car exterior, interior, and industrial design, and space and architecture. So times 2, so it comes to 8 sheets of sketch. It's a first homework. This is a normal case. And at that time, don't do from the scratch. I really recommend that copying from past students' excellent works. And this is really recommendable because in the beginning it's kind of too difficult start from the scratch. So in the beginning copy somebody else and know what is important. 4 commandments is based. So second day, second lesson, along with the 4 commandments, critique everybody's sketch each other. When you critique others, you need to be God-eyed. God-eyed, what I mean is, you can say whatever along with 4 commandments without hesitation of whether you can do it or not. That means if you are not good yet, but if you say, yours good, your sketch is good, very nice, I cannot do like this. No. Maybe it's not good in some point about the 4 commandments. Then he or she is supposed to say, this point is good, this point is bad. I cannot do both, but anyway, my eye, my God eye, tell it. You know, it's a right way and even a polite way to the person who to be evaluated, right? And of course, the evaluating thing, you are evaluating the sketch, not the people. So you have to respect the people and tell him what he really need to listen, right? So that means you need to tell your comment about from 4 commandments about his sketch from God-eyed, right? Okay, then probably next week, in this second week, the draw 4 category sketches, 3 piece each, 12 piece. Would be nice progression from last week. Still copying from a past student sketch is really recommendable. And if your classmates have a good one, why not? Then next week, critique each other along with 4 commandments again. And after 3rd week, lesson is repetition, same thing. And when critique each other, I will carefully listening what you guys say. If something wrong, I will correct it. You're supposed to change the copy to your original gradually. The final purpose is all original, for sure. But in the beginning, copying somebody else's good sketch, excellent sketch, is really recommendable. Homework will be set accordingly, but if 12 sketch, maybe keep 12 sketch continuously. If beginner's class, maybe start a little bit less sketches, but final week supposed to be the same 12 sketches. That's normal, I think. And if you reach over 100 sketches in this way, effectiveness of this sketch training will be almost maximized. So you don't need to draw 200, 300, I think. But more than 100 would be necessary, right? So you need to keep drawing. Okay, finally, I tell you about what is the 4 commandments. The first one of 4 commandments is a contrast. The contrast means relation between black and white in paper, on the paper. And recognizable strong contrast from a distant point is very important. And not too dark, not too white, as a whole picture is important. The contrast works for kind of view the standout of the sketch from afar. If you become a designer, if you're working in a studio, and probably you put your sketch on the wall, and then if designer comes into your studio and look at the sketch, and wow, by the way, whose sketch is that one? I think this is a very important thing. The chief designer realized from kind of far and said, whose sketch is this? It's good, right? To stand out is a kind of charm the people from far. It's a kind of very good function of the sketch, and it is necessary to make people understand at one glance. This is contrast, right? Number 1. Number 2 is a composition. Composition is a bit complicated. There are 3 points important. Along with the size of the paper, object should be appropriate size and placement. If paper is like this, don't draw just here. If paper is like this, then don't draw too big. You know, size and placement, just appropriate size and placement, right? And number 2, correct perspective, always. This is, to tell the truth, a bit difficult thing, but it will be better and better if you repeat drawing sketches. It's very important. And number 3 is put object in best angle. There's some good angle. For example, if you draw scissors, maybe you draw like this. You don't draw like this. You don't draw like this. You cannot see, right? So, but how about this angle, or this angle, or much bigger this angle? Where is the right angle to show? Maybe open scissors? You know, think about it and put the thing at the best angle. So I repeat, size and placement and correct perspective and the best angle. This is all about composition. Okay, this is number 2. And number 3, line quality. Quality of line tells a lot. Contrary to the contrast, this tells high quality in close distance. Line quality. And control your looseness intentionally strong or weak. It's very important, you know. Maybe important line could be drawn by the curve ruler, but kind of tasty, far, nice quality line can be drawn by hand nicely. I told you about the chief designer case. Chief designer said by the contrast from afar, he found it's a nice sketch. But then he became close and looked, and still it's good, or not that good. It's at this point, exactly, line quality. Line quality works the quality of the good sketch in near distance, close distance. This is very important, line quality. So contrast and line quality is kind of opposite, but both are very important for the good sketches. And number 4 is focusing. Decide focus point when start. When you start the sketch, please decide where is the focus. It's a bit difficult, but if you repeat, you will realize you can do it. For standing out of the main theme, focus point should be determined. The focus point equal high density drawing point. High density. For example, if there's a car and you are drawing a front view, maybe front face would be a focus point. And you draw the focus point more detailed, precisely, and in a high quality. but you better not draw the other part very high quality. It's like focusing of the camera, then near focus and middle focus, far focus. It's you can adjust. Do you know that? Just like this, you can emphasize the point you really want to convey to the others. So this is in another word, you should leave the rough space, usually most distant area, and you can speed up sketch by this technique. Do you understand? Even a whole car, but silhouette supposed to be there, of course, but you concentrate front mask and you leave kind of rough the other part. Then you can speed up the sketches, right? It's interesting, right? So I told you 4 commandments. All 4 commandments is already here. This is not more than that, not less than that. Through my 30 years of teaching experience, this is really, really final answer to me. What is important for the blue sketches. So please believe that and memorize it and reflect it to your sketch. This is really, really important, and this is a backbone of blue sketch training. I just tell you how to evaluate the sketches, and these former students' work. Thank you for the guy who drew this. And in this sketch, for example, the contrast may be a bit weak. Composition almost okay. The quality of line quite weak. And the focusing is a bit weak. From a spider chart there, it can be seen. But if I tell all over again, due to less contrast, this sketch looks a bit weak. All composition factor is okay, except rear tire looks a bit too small as a right perspective. Quality of line is the main weak point of this sketch. Together with a weak contrast, it makes the sketch looks like a bit less confident. The front tire is darker than rear. This is light focusing. Yet, front black fender is lighter than rear. It is wrong, and the total focusing is a bit confused. This is a evaluation. You don't need to say exactly the same thing. But along with the 4 commandments, this sketch can be evaluated like this. Let's see another example. This is an industrial design product. The contrast is okay, including intentional usage of warm and cool color. Even I need a monochromatic, but this much change is I think it's in the allowance. And the problem is more like upper side top line is slightly not parallel to the paper edge, like this direction. Since this work is close to the blueprint, do you know blueprint? Like a two-dimensional three-way of look. It's a way of showing the thing. Like a blueprint, this part is better be precise as a composition. You know, precisely what I'm talking about is this line here and this line here is a little bit opening. It's not good as this kind of drawing. Should be really parallel to the paper edge. And quality line is okay, but little more dynamic would better. Horizontal background should be continuous in height, and the way of vignette should be consistent. Vignette means it's a word of focusing. Like here is there's from strong contrast to no contrast. It's becoming shallower. The degree of shallower is called vignette in my class. So if you say that here you need a vignette more, means you need more shallower here, from darker to shallower, right? But at here, what I'm talking about is comparing to here. This side is really stop, and it makes kind of confusion of recognition, because this shape may cause this shape could be part of the design. No, this is a background. So this and this should be continuous in one line, and if vignette shallower background is like this, the other side supposed to be the same, right? This makes a bit confusion in this drawing, don't you think so? And next one, this is nice, huh? This is almost ideal work. Due to the very strong contrast, control of the distant part and the texture of the water, etc. become very easy because of strong contrast. Yet dark blue is added a bit black. It is not a monochromatic expression, but I should say okay in this case. Composition, quality of line also very well organized. The dark to light gradation around the outside of the sketch, so-called vignette, works pretty good for beautiful focusing. Okay, let's cut at here today, and later part I will make to another video, next video. If you think my lesson was useful, please click good button and subscribe. Also, your comment is very helpful for me, so please leave comments. See you guys in the next video. Ciao, ciao.